Once knowledge was found, once the water stood still, once the earth stopped shaking, once the damage was done, once the fire stopped burning, was the day they felt rage ignite. From the day forward, they became American born savages.
What's up, everybody? It's first episode of American Born Savage, but we're going to talk about everything, except for politics. We're not talking about that crap, because who knows what. Anyway, I got a few guests for tonight, so let me go ahead and throw them up there. We've got Flash Martin. We call him the Goat Man. He's from England. It should explain itself. We got Fire and Ice, aka Nate, aka the Preacher Man. And then we got Sith turned Jedi, but we changed that Jedi to Savage now. I changed it. However, we got a big show tonight. We got a bunch of different things we're going to talk about. And there's so many different stories. So let's start the night off right. Look, usually I'm not interested in trying to start off with like article from somewhere else or something else. However, this is one of them articles that's just there to throw everybody off. It says, now I don't agree with this, I don't endorse this, but I think it's pretty goddamn funny in my opinion. Mental hospital nurse busted for knocking on paranoid patients' doors and then hiding. This is on boingboing.net. It says a nurse at a psychiatric hospital in Scotland was given a 2-year caution order, essentially an official warning for knocking on doors of patients with paranoia and then hiding. According to the Nursing and Midwifery Council, Douglas, let's not say the name, the persons from Royal Edinburgh Hospital put the patient at risk of psychological and emotional harm. Okay.
When did you go over to Scotland?
I never went to Scotland, and I can't say that I agree with this happening at a hospital. However, there are situations that arise where I've seen these things happen. We'll just say that. The idea, it's absolutely hilarious, but the fact of doing it to somebody is so it makes a good story to look into, but people don't do that. It's just kind of messed up. However, that's just how we're over. Something to smile. Where are we going to start? Where do you guys want to start with? That's the better question. Do you want to go straight into the research that I've been looking up to? Do you want to discuss the situation with this young girl, the 16-year-old who come up missing? You guys tell me, because we're very limited on actual information on the 16-year-old, but it's still something that we need to talk about in case anybody's seen this.
Right.
I say we start off with that.
Okay, the girl's name is Kylie Rodney. I've been watching a whole bunch of different videos, whether it be news reports, to Upchurch, to some weirdo that creates content to a bunch of different people. And then there was this real big guy, and he was just like trying to talk, but I'm not trying to down punch, okay? I'm not trying to down punch, but if I talk about this guy that I just watched this video of, I might not only make people laugh, but get in trouble for the things that I would say. But listen, if you got to move your chin to discuss something, then don't discuss it. Okay. Anyway, there's this young girl, and she went to a party with her friend. Well, all the stories are different. This girl come up missing that. There's people saying that they're part of it, that they seen her. There's people that, like, a whole bunch of different stories from all different. And then there's these couple people. One is a YouTuber who is basically trying to troll another YouTuber. Actually, he's known on his channel because we listen to his music up church. And I'm watching all sides of it, and I'm not trying to. And everybody knows when I watch things like that, I don't try to stay inside the box. I look from outside the box, so that way if somebody's wrong, I see somebody who hasn't been getting sleep, but who has a lot of facts and who's been doing a lot of investing. I see a couple people trying to troll on the other. the girl, they don't know what happened to her. Her and her vehicle disappeared. That should be the most important thing. But you got these jackasses just putting stories out there and creating chaos. And I hope they get held accountable. But this was around Las Vegas, Packer County, Pacer County, Pacert County, I think. And it's just a fact that it's kind of crazy how this all went down. Young girl goes to a party that everybody says is there every year, and then somebody knows, oh, well, there was these drugs or that drugs or things of that nature. Like, well, what about the kid? What happened to the kid? So go ahead,
Right.
your questions, and I could try to answer what I know.
So she goes missing from Las Vegas, which isn't
It's
uncommon.
Pacert County. I don't think it's Las Vegas itself.
Right. Yeah, no, I think you're right. But so her and her car disappeared.
Yes.
Bunch of different stories. Sounds like a lot of people involved.
There's too many stories, though. Some of the friends sound like they're just making stuff up. Some of them sound like they collaborated. They said she left the party at 10:30, but she was seen on video at 12:41 or 12:40 or something like that. Like I said, I've been watching all of it.
Right.
I know the Adventures with Purpose. That's really important that we bring them up because they're on their way to search. Adventures with Purpose, I could speak on because I've watched so many of their videos and I've supported them for such a long time. Basically, they go after cold case files. Well, they're going up there to try to help with the hunt. This is not just a standard group of people. This is an elite, top-notch group of people that do this every day. So
Right.
We got to give them credit where it's due. The situation with her, it's just so screwed up because I feel that the parents are paying for it when they shouldn't have. I feel that
Right.
I'm not saying that they're innocent or they're guilty, but they're catching the wrath of everybody else by all the
Right.
manipulation and lies and these trolls. See, and then you got the news and everything. I'm trying to pull up just the news site that has the actual information, and they're putting so much other stuff that has nothing related to the case in it. So it let me see. And nearly two here. This is from People Magazine, and I'm not. I hate using mainstream sources, but just to get the idea of the story. In nearly 2 weeks since the Kylie Rodney vanished, after a party in Tahoe National Forest on August 6th, authorities have followed up on dozens of leads and interviewed multiple witnesses in hoping to find the missing 16-year-old. But not everyone is cooperative in a search, according to the authorities. People aren't talking to us. The Placer County Sheriff's Office public information officer had told the New York Post on Thursday. So this, I guess, is pulled from New York Post.
Right.
A lot of people from the party may be in college and may be just about to start college, and they're afraid they will ruin their future if they say so. She was last seen at 12:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning, according to police, where one or more of the 100 juveniles and young adults who attended the party near Prosser Family Campground, about 10 miles north of Truckee, California. So I was wrong. It wasn't it wasn't Vegas. It was California. But after texting her mother that she was heading home soon, her phone went off, and it hasn't turned on since. There also has been no trace of her silver 2013 Honda CRV, which bears California license plate 8YUR127. I don't ever read license plates or nothing like that. But I'm not doxing nobody. If you guys see that plate, you got to look into
For
it.
sure.
Authorities are treating her disappearance as a possible
Foul play incident.
No,
Abduction.
that's the word we probably shouldn't say. That's what I was trying to avoid saying. But yes, that's exactly it. Snatching. In a Friday press release, a Placer County Sheriff's Office says that they've conducted the offender compliance sweeps. Add your 3-letter word before it. I'm not going to. Throughout the area as part of the investigation. The operation, which occurred on Thursday, August 18th, resulted in several restraints being found in violation of their terms, with one arrest being made and criminal charges to be filed on another. The sheriff's office said authorities did not announce any connection between the arrest and her disappearance. Kind of odd. As of Friday, the sheriff's office said they have received 1,562 tips on her disappearance. They have assigned 73 personnel to the case and have expanded 18,810 personal hours on finding her. Police say they have hopes of police say they have a photo of her, of Kylie, at the party, but not a single party goer has come forward saying they saw her leave. She was last seen wearing a black spaghetti strap bodysuit, green dicky pants, and a black grommet belt. Goddamn fly! That fly is still harassing me. She is 5'7" about 118 pounds. Has blonde hair, hazel eyes. She has a nose ring and several other piercings, as well as a tattoo of number 17 on her ribs. A specialized tip line has been established for information about her disappearance and whereabouts. That tip line phone number is 530-581-6320. Please don't go abusing that phone number. Press option 7 to leave information, either anonymously or otherwise. Authorities and her family are desperate to find a trace of the missing girl and are asking partygoers to come forward with a lead. Just tell us what you know, the New York Post reporter said. Now, there's some things that I could mention to this story also that I know. Upchurch said, I will give somebody my Hellcat if they could find her. Somebody else, it might have been Upchurch, I'm not sure, but somebody else has $75,000 as a reward. Might help out some people if this girl was found alive.
Right. Definitely keep an eye out for that license plate from wherever you are. She could be anywhere.
So now we can go further into it.
And I'm gonna sidestep for a second. I hope that people don't try to take the whole Hellcat and money as the only motivation for trying to help find this girl.
No, but you know
Girl
what?
needs to be brought home safe.
I agree 1,000,000%. But if that's the motivation that they're willing to use and it helps this girl, then it's worth it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean that should not be their,
Sole motivation. Yeah, you should want to do the right thing.
Yeah, it should be, I want to help this girl get home, not, I want the money.
Yeah. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely. So I hope everything works best I can say. I don't like the fact that there's a 16-year-old girl that comes up missing, but there's so many kids that come up missing every year in the States. It doesn't need to be hidden.
Right.
We need this to be out in the open so people, if they see them, they can face them. Okay. You ready for this one? Now that we went through the depressing story, let me verify something real quick. Just make sure that we're live.
Yep, we're still live on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm checking Facebook. I didn't get no notifications. Probably not. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we're live. So you ready for the world to get sugar? What if I was to say that there's enough evidence that the moon came in during the younger dryas? Would you consider that evidence?
Say that again?
The moon arrived during the younger dryas 12,900 years ago. And there's more evidence of that than a lot of the things that we're told.
I would say that's true.
Okay, the younger dryas was 12,900 years ago. However, there's two tribes. Well, a tribe in a colony, no, it would a whole country of people. There was the Zulu tribe, and they spoke of the time before the moon. There was also the Sumerians, which have it in their documents time before the moon. Then would you consider it?
Well, yeah,
Oh
because
yeah,
they're one of the oldest like tribes, aren't they? It's a man, as far as I know of.
The oldest
So,
civilized. Go ahead, Seth.
mm,
I was gonna say. I mean, there's enough evidence out there. You kind of have to at least consider it.
Okay. Well, let's go into some of that evidence. 13,000 years ago, there was a meteorite that landed in Antarctica. Okay. They say that meteorite left Mars 4.5 million years ago. Okay. So if the moon was on the same trajectory, it would explain everything. Now, we have the situation with Mars where its upper hemisphere has a higher, or what is it? The southern hemisphere has a higher elevation than the northern hemisphere from something hitting it.
hmm.
Kind of add two and two. I think it might have been called the Borealis impact. I think it was. It was hit by something the size of Pluto, is what hit Mars. 6,000 miles wide was the impact. And then you had other impact sites. I think there's 5 or 6 other ones. It's like the Isidis impact and a few others. So this is all 4.5 million years ago. But an asteroid from that time hit Antarctica around 13,000 years ago.
Right.
I feel that right there tells us the trajectory was probably the same for the moon. Now, we know we had a major flood 13,000 years ago, several major floods, but there was one that was cataclysmic. One they unleashed the size of Canada, I think, or it was in Canada. It was a Great Lake iceberg, and it bursted. For anybody that's thinking that's what I'm talking about, it's not. It's not. I'm talking about the one before that, the one that Göbekli Tepe, the 13,000-year-old astro, whatever. It's like a astronomist type deal. The observatory. They spoke of a great impact. I don't think the impact happened. I think it arrived. Because if the impact would have happened, it might have split the Earth. I mean, we're not talking about something small. The moon is what, a quarter of the Earth's size.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now let's really frustrate some people. Okay, we got to pull this paper back over because I think that the Great Deluge happened then. The one the Bible spoke of, yeah, I think that that's when the Great Deluge happened, the Great Flood.
Mm.
And I'm going to go into 2 different aspects. One, before anybody starts saying which religion's right or wrong, keep in mind, I think all religions were the same when it comes to Abrahamic religions, and the Tower of Babel is what split them up. When people had to learn a new tongue, when the mind was confused, like it says in the books, the languages were changed. So that's what split the religion up. Okay, and if you think of it from that aspect, it makes perfect sense because you can take the Hebrew Bible, the Christian Bible, the Quran, and a bunch of different books and overlay them, and you'll have so many of the same stories that run through every single one of them.
Right.
So,
It's just a different translation.
correct. So I feel that a lot of the different religions, when it comes to Abrahamic religions, are one and the same. And I feel a lot of the polytheistic came pretty much from Sumer.
Right.
That's how I feel, but I might be wrong. Now, when it comes to
But
the
it makes
Christian,
sense.
when it comes to the Abrahamic religion, this is what's really going to trip you guys up. Methuselah was how old when he died?
Not over 900 years old.
969 to be precise. He died 3 days before the flood. Okay. If the moon arrived around the time that Methuselah died, we're looking at 12 to 13 ago. And the reason that I say that is if you take Methuselah's age, we have something called time dilation. Without the moon, the Earth spins faster. That's a known fact. It's been known for years. You can go on NASA's website and actually get all the mathematics and formulas. But it's called time dilation. So without us having a moon to control the tides, we would have like a bulge on the side of the Earth. And because of that bulge, it would spin faster. What happens if the days are faster? The times change. So,
and the days become shorter.
To be precise, we're talking 4-hour days instead of 24-hour days. That's a 6 times multiplier. So let's divide Methuselah's age of 969 by 6. Simply by 6. 161. They didn't
Which
have
back
all
then was feasible.
They didn't have all the processed bullshit. So yes, it was feasible. Absolutely. And that would also explain why all these religions have cultures that are older than us. Say their people were 900 or 700. Yeah, in that point in time in history, the days were faster. It would make perfect sense. Now let's go back to when the moon actually arrived. What happens if a new moon arrives to a planet? Besides it's spinning fast,
It changes the force of gravity.
it grips it. So what happened? That hurt. But if it takes the planet and it comes in and let me put it down, and it comes in and it grips it and it just so happens to shift the Earth, Ice Age is over. The Ice Age is over. The same Ice Age that
because
we said
everything would
ended.
warm up.
The same Ice Age that we said ended 12,900 years ago. It's always falling back on 12,900 years. Now let's really, really top it off. This is where it gets interesting. Let me see. We've got Yonaguni, which is also in Yamati. It's a 10,000-year-old city underwater. It has been disputed by some scientists, but look at the pictures and determine it yourself because they're lying. In my opinion, they're lying. You got this 10,000-year-old pyramid underwater. You're telling me that was made within 10 years? No, it probably took them 100 years to make that city.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Göbekli Tepe from 9,600 BC was when it was active, not when it was built. Then you got the Clovis people, 14,500 to 18,500, with some estimates because they found a second skeleton of 13,000 to 12,750. Where does that put you with that one? 12,750 to 13,050. The 12,000.
Right at that same timeline.
Then you got the Hareya comet impact, 12,800 years ago. You're telling me that comet impact couldn't have been with the moon?
That makes a lot of sense.
Now, I'm not saying we're right or we're wrong. The whole
It's just something
idea
to
of
think
this
about.
is to think outside of the box because science isn't always correct. There's too many theories that's put off as proof without the evidence backing it. And that's where we're running into a major problem. I mean, they give us the Big Bang Theory, or you go to the different religions and they give us all these different theories. But what about the hard evidence? What's it saying? And we have hard evidence saying that this, with the exception of removing the moon out of it, a lot of this supposedly happened. I used a religion aspect of it to see around what time. I remembered 969-year-old dude died. Like I remember reading that. That's why I used Methuselah. Figure out his math, see if it would aim in the same spot. And a lot of these did aim in the same spots. So now, like a boss. Okay. But now think about that. Nate, I asked you, do you think that it would be possible? And I'll ask you guys again. Do you think that by looking at just the evidence that we have, it would be possible?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
Flash, your
absolutely.
mind's on goats right now, isn't it?
Say again?
Your mind's on
No,
goats,
sheep.
isn't it? Sheep?
It's on sheep.
No, it isn't actually.
Okay.
I'm not into that sort of things.
So let's throw a curveball into this. We could jump off of this topic now. Because you guys are boring when it came to it. You didn't really put a lot of.
Well, I'm learning stuff every time, you know what I mean? Like, I don't do the research. I don't have time. So I'm here,
Sometimes
like,
that's all I have
learning
time
stuff.
for.
With me,
So,
I just forget things, though.
I'll have time soon, unfortunately.
Mr. Nate,
Yeah.
what was the college that you went to?
I went to Lincoln Christian College East Coast down in Bel Air, Maryland.
And what was your major there?
Preaching with an emphasis on youth ministry.
Do you agree that the Book of Enoch is a real book that was removed out of the Bible?
I think it was.
What about the Book of Jubilee?
I haven't read that one, so I don't
It
want to.
more or less explains who Adam and Eve's daughter.
It's quite possible because my thoughts are, since the Bible was put together by a group of men that pick and chose at the Council of Nicene, it's possible that, stuff that should have been in the Bible didn't make it in there.
I think that was kind of stupid whenever they ripped all the Bible apart like that, but okay. So do you think? Go ahead, Flash.
I was just going to say that's probably one of the reasons why I don't actually read the Bible because they're always changing stuff in it to make it.
See, that's the thing.
Cool.
If I look into this, I just go get a Hebrew translation, or I look at the Talmud, because the Talmud's the Jewish Bible. How you doing, Alex? The Talmud's the Jewish one, but it has a lot of stories from the Christian one, so you can get the same story. It's just whether they emphasize more. The reason I ask this is because there's a situation over in the Middle East right now. The Book of Enoch, doesn't it tell the locations of where the fallen angels were supposedly buried? Doesn't the Book of Revelation say that when the Euphrates dries up, those same angels are going to get free?
Yep.
Houston, we have a problem. The Euphrates is drying up currently. So, I'm not telling anybody what to believe. I'm not pushing religion on anybody. So hear me out on that. As a matter of fact, whenever it's my time, I want somebody to play the message from the Norse to send somebody off. That's just me. But I'm looking at all the aspects of it. So we got to go for that.
It's weird how everything kind of adds up when you start digging, but how much is actually missing once you start digging.
See, that's the thing. I've been looking at all these different books, and I've really been looking. And anybody that wants proof, just talk to Candy. He'll give you like days of messages between me and him going back and forth. It's not for nothing, Christian civilization. No, I completely understand what you're saying, Alex. I'm looking at the aspects of all the different religions and how they overlap. And then I'm looking at these books that are in a lot of the cultures that were completely ignored. I mean, people say the Book of Enoch isn't necessarily legitimate, but it was in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the ones in Africa, Ethiopia. They have
Right.
copies of it. So I feel that people were discounting these books because they were removed. Candyman had made the statement to me, well, if God didn't want it in there, it wouldn't be it. I don't feel that's correct. Because if God didn't want it in there, whatever his God may be, then why are they all of a sudden showing up now?
I reckon someone's just added it to the Bible or to the thing itself.
Okay, Flash, so let's talk about this, because you're one that's a very materialistic. So if you have this book, okay, and it doesn't even have to be a reference to the Bible, but if you have this book, we will say Harry Potter, and you're under the assumption that some random British guy, just the word guy, wrote this book. And then you find a copy of the book from 2,000 years ago and it has J.K. Rowling's name on it, which says, hey, this book's older than what I've been being told. Would it make sense?
Oh, no.
Would you automatically discredit it?
Well, I won't
Flash
discredit
don't
it.
even believe in aliens. He said he was. I said, you don't even believe in aliens. Yeah, no. I know, Alex. I was just using that point so that way I wasn't confused.
Well, my mum being an alien, but personally, I don't believe in them because I only believe in what I see.
Flash called me. We was on the phone yesterday. So now we're going to get into the relaxed talk. Flash calls me. We're on the phone for 2 hours, right? We're just talking, BSing back and forth. And we start really, really talking. And this man tells me that he's drinking piss.
I wasn't drinking piss water. I was actually drinking Guinness. It's actually a proper lager. It's men's lager.
Am I lying? Piss in a cup.
Yeah. No, it's not piss in a cup.
E.T. exists, but not in our same. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to aliens, Flash told me last night the only reason he don't believe in aliens because they never came and visited him and gave him that famous probe. So that's besides the point. I was waiting for it to come
up. They originally did come to probe him, but he was off with the sheep, so they didn't want to bother
Flash, you done screwed up again. You
definitely
screwed the pooch again. Okay. So, Sid, you said
God.
I've
got a couple funny stories. There's actually one unfolding at the moment.
I could see that, Sid. Sorry, Sid. Hold on 1 second. Alex, I could definitely see that. Not in our space time. I could see it being like my theory with Bigfoot. It's in a different dimension. It's able to envelop into our dimension. Now, I might sound crazy by saying that, but give me a better excuse.
No.
So,
well, that's the same with Nessie.
No, I believe Nessie's real.
Oh no, I do believe Nessie is real, but there's
just hiding
theories
from Flash.
That
he said it's been 4 months.
But there's a theory that it keeps going through a time-space portal and then back and forth.
No, honestly.
I do believe that mermaids are real, to be fair.
Wait a minute. No, see, this is a whole nother level of crazy. You don't believe in aliens when there's 400 billion planets out there, but you believe there could be a half human, half fish that comes up to your house?
Well, yeah.
Nobody.
Is that why you've been fishing a lot?
I've not been fishing a lot. I've been watching programs on them,
No, Flash
and then
goes to the beach and they throw rocks at him.
they're one ugly ass, butter ass, ugly things. You know what I mean? They're not the nice cuddly type things you want to cuddle.
No,
You know,
well, listen.
no.
When it comes to Nessie, I feel that there's somewhere deeper that she's able to go into, like a cavern or something that just hasn't been recognized. And also, you got to consider there was another different fish sighting that was on the other side, wherever that strait is. There's another part that it can get through. So I kind of feel that it's able. There's some sort of cavern that allows Nessie to go back and forth. What do you guys think it is?
Yeah, but it can't be too. It can't be the cabin can't be too far down because the pressure would end up squashing it.
No, not necessarily.
Not if
Not if
that's
it's
its
a.
native spot.
Yep. Because think of how much sea life lives at the bottom of the ocean.
They still haven't got Nate's mom from down there.
Yeah.
The squid.
It's a shame that we know more about the surface of our moon than our oceans.
And listen, before we get any social justice warriors, me and Nate talk shit. That's just the way I've known him all my life. Okay.
Many a moon. We're getting old.
You want to know what my opinion is? It's a mosasaur.
So what?
I kind of believe it might be a mosasaur.
The last of the dinosaurs.
But is it the last? Because Admiral Byrd said, now we're going to go into some really fringe topics. Just a warning. I believe Carl Sagan defined it. There are a billion of stars, a billion times a billion, and many societies and life civilizations would have ended before we have. I could agree with that. I could actually absolutely agree with that. That's not even a question. So now we're going to get into some fringe topics. Some people believe it, some people don't, but we're going to talk about it. So Admiral Byrd's diary said that there was there was lush lands at the North and South Pole. We have a treaty that says you can't go down there and mine. There's no fly zones. I'm not going to say permanent because I've seen reports of people being able to go to, but there are no fly zones over the North and South Pole at certain points in time. Question is, what was really up?
Santa's workshop.
Santa's workshop. Flash's long lost goat.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
Flash's goat's up there trying to become a reindeer for what Flash did to it.
He said some sailing.
It wants to crap on his roof as it flies past every holiday.
Oh yeah. Oh, done.
But no, so the Admiral said that something took. Now this isn't his diary. Some people believe it's real, some people don't. But supposedly the way it was said, the diary said something took over his ship, and then there was tall whites that more or less told him we're destroying a planet or something. You'd have to look into it a lot more. Question is, do you believe that there could be, since Flash is saying that there's nothing in outer space unless he sees it, but he doesn't see ghosts, even though he says they. Never mind, I can't say that. I'll get in trouble. But do you believe that there could be species living inside the Earth? It's all goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about.
Oh yeah, of course. Deep in the caverns and stuff.
Look at him. He looks like he's one of them.
Well, I mean, you got the Walcott kids, which were in Germany a couple hundred years ago, maybe 1,000 years ago, where these kids come out green. We could speculate, but we can't do nothing more than that. And one of them died. Actually, there are no commercial flights over the North Pole because it's too dangerous because of magnetic flares from the sun. Okay, I can understand that. See, I wasn't sure. I know that there was a couple that they did take over it, but they were for experiments. I didn't know if they ever actually opened it up or not. I was watching some things about the North and South Pole. So it's kind of nuts how this all works out, because we have these inner caverns. There's the, what is it? Warka? No. I think the Warka was also under. But there's a place in Turkey where there's caves, there's caverns, and the people lived there. They were being persecuted, but they were able to live in these caverns. So, if you think about it, why couldn't human species still be down there? If they was able to live that long, I've had this argument with other people where they're like, oh, well, there's nothing that they'd be able to grow and eat down there. That's wrong. That's a myth. Let's go there right now. You've got beans and mushrooms that do not require light to grow.
Right.
So you'd be all right. Why can't we consider that? Why is it so fringe to consider there might be something in the earth? Flash, do you believe that there might be a species of human inside the earth?
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh, you really got me messed up.
No,
Okay,
seriously.
Listen,
Yeah.
Alex said the Dead Sea Scrolls were found in those caves. Okay. Now, did you just say that you believe there could be humans or some sort of humans inside the earth, but there's nothing in outer space?
Well, yeah.
I hope that the aliens look like sheep men, and they come to your house banging on your door.
That'd be
I
funny.
really
Like.
do.
The problem
yeah.
with that, he'd just be like, "Come on in, cutie."
Well, the thing is, we used to live in caves anyway, so I dare say we've gone back millions of years ago. We did live in caves, so I dare say people do live under the ground because they find that it's better for them, or they like it under the ground. You know what I mean? So yeah, because at the end of the day, you do adapt to the environment over time.
Right.
Okay, I'm putting you guys on screen for a minute. But I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. I just wanted to put you guys on screen for a minute. So, do you believe that the Native American tribes were telling an actual? Good morning, Scrub. Do you think that the Native American tribes were telling stories, or do you think they was telling it as they seen it, as they relayed it on? For instance, I think it was the Hopi that spoke of the ant.
The Anunnaki.
No, that's Sumerian culture. That's way back, like way on the other side of the world. Mostly in harsh environments, desert caves were air conditioned. Well, then that would make sense. Out to dinner with the wifey. Thought I'd jump on and say morning real quick while she's in the girls' room. Well, I hope you guys have a great dinner, Scrog. So, let's see. Well, there are many tribes that spoke about people that lived in the, so air conditioned caves perfectly makes sense. Question is, can there still be people living? None of us know yet, but I think that's something that we will find out.
Well, I think there probably would be because there's water under the ground, you know what I mean? So it's perfect for living underground and it's there because you get oxygen down there as well.
Well, I mean, some cultures believe that the earth has a hollow core. And there's an inner earth and things like that. Now, I don't believe it that it would be completely hollow. I think it's honeycomb, but I would believe that before I believe it was flat.
Right.
I think Nate's
Well,
started
I would
part of
believe
that
that
world, that globe
No,
of flat Earth.
I'm not even going to get on the flat earth topic.
Yeah, we can't really talk about it as something to discuss because I don't think YouTube likes that idea, and I don't blame them for it. I mean, I don't agree with the censorship, but there's a lot of manipulated numbers I've caught on to, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's beliefs, so it's best we just leave that there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You know
Nate,
it.
go ahead. Sit.
Oh, you're good.
So Nate,
You go.
let's go ahead back back to the beginning when we were talking about the Tower of Babel, when I said I believe that that could be the split of all the religions. With you being somebody who went to become a preacher and went and had the knowledge and everything of that nature, do you believe
Yeah,
it?
quite possible.
Because I mean, it openly states now. Listen, for
Yeah,
anybody that's watching this, I'm not pushing my beliefs on anybody. I haven't stated my beliefs when it comes to religion or nothing like that, and I believe there's a higher power. Let's leave that there. But do you believe that the Tower of Babel could be what broke everybody into different sects?
it,
And that's
I
S E
believe it
C
is quite
T.
possible. I know what you meant.
No, I was saying it for the algorithm.
Oh, okay. Um, I believe it's possible because even as you said with the different, you know, religious texts, even just go off of a lot of the old religions, Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, Greek, Roman, they were all had basically the same gods, just different names.
Which all came from Samaria, I kind of feel. But I might be wrong on it. That's why I haven't really brought that up. But Samaria did have a lot of the common gods that not only India, but Norse and Greek. So it just different names. Tower of Babel is mostly about creating different languages. Correct. So I feel either now we're going to talk about it scientifically. I kind of believe that the Tower of Babel at one point in time was actually a tower that had the same religions, like in several different languages, like the stone they found in Egypt. It's got a compound word for it. It has three different languages: Akkadian, Egyptian, and something else, Greek, or something. But I feel that that's what the Tower of Babel actually was at one point in time, where it wasn't that the language was confused, but the people spoke different language. I believe it was like a big pillar that had all these different languages on it, just like them stones in the United States that got wiped out recently.
The
The
Georgia
Guidestones.
Guidestones.
Yeah. I feel that the Tower of Babel was something similar to that, and people had to memorize it to be able to take it back and write it down on their scrolls and everything. Just figure, yeah, I don't know if you'd be able to take that many scrolls. But if you went there and studied a tower for years to learn what they were talking about, and then went back, you could interpret it in your own way.
Right.
So then we got to go back to who was before that. And that's when we piss people off.
And if you think about it, it's an old saying. Every time somebody repeats like a story or whatever, it changes a little bit. So if each person is relaying it in their own language and each time it changes just that little bit, we would have the difference in religions that we have today.
Basically, it's like Chinese whispers, really, if you think about it. When they tell one story, and like you just said, it changes.
Telephone games, what you're talking about. Yeah, at first, according to the Bible, but which version of the Bible? Because some of them doesn't necessarily say the same thing. It says that the people became confused. So it kind of changes things. The King James version, there's so many different things that was taken out and changed, like meanings, things of that nature. So it kind of messes everything up. But if we really look at it, it said that people became confused, and I think the Talmud might have been the one that said it, or one of the ancient codices. So we run into that problem there. So that's why I feel that we might be it might be misinterpreted. I mean, there's a word, knob and shander. I cannot say it in the English terms because I will get in trouble. This is no BS. In the KJV version of the book, the Bible, there's a word that they have in there that they mistranslated, and it represents the how do I say this without saying it to piss people off? The pride community.
There you go.
There. So there's this word, and I made a video on TikTok because I was sick of seeing these preachers go crazy. And there's this
Why didn't
word.
you say the first bit and then said the last bit?
The word means
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Just say the first bit and then said the
a
last bit.
lover of children, but only
There
the
you
male.
go.
Only the male. That's what that word. See, I don't like having a tiptoe about saying the actual meaning of it, but we're kind of stuck. However, that's what the original books actually said in 1862 and 1866 and in 1869. 3 different versions of the book, the Bible was changed to have the mistranslation of it. So, with that being said, it's like too many parts of these books were changed to fit a narrative way after the fact. Now, let's jump out of the religion stuff. Let's talk about this situation with these prophets from back in the day, Edgar Cayce, Nostradamus. We got 10 minutes left on the stream. Nostradamus said in 2022, if some people have interpreted, in 2022, there's going to be a great wheat shortage. It's pretty crazy that Nostradamus said this stuff, but whatever. What are you guys' opinions on these ancient, or not even ancient, these prophets from the past? Edgar Cayce cured a disease while he was asleep.
Yeah.
Nostradamus telling us about historic things that's going to happen that end up happening. Do you believe these people have the gift of sight? Or do you believe these people have a connection to the, what some people would call the Akashic records? Correct. You can also add Nikola Tesla to that group. You feel like they were enlightened to get to that part, gifted to get to that part, or they're just somewhere else?
Oh, it could be that the people have just come from, say, like time traveling, for example. Like there's one person who's supposed to time travel from the past to come into the future, and I've seen pictures of him with a mobile phone and stuff like that from like 1930s and stuff.
So do you
So it could be like that.
So he doesn't believe in aliens, but he believes in time travel.
Yeah, see, I agree, Alex, but there are some things that's really, really crazy with his predictions that actually have came out 100% legitimate. And that's where we run into the problem with Nostradamus. I mean, he did kind of predict, how we say it, 1943's events.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I could agree with that. But in Edgar Cayce's situation, this man was actually curing diseases while he was asleep.
I think it's a load of hoo-ha. I think that's a load of rubbish. I don't think that. How could you? You're asleep.
Hold on.
That's the thing. If he was tapping in, my belief is these guys tapped into the Akashic records, had a way, somehow to do it. And that's what he was doing while he was, quote unquote, sleeping. He was tapping into the Akashic records to be able to heal people and give information, give prophecies.
He was telling people how to deal with asthma while he was asleep. But there was another disease that he told them how to treat, and it ended up working. Like, what's the discussion about, fellas? Well, Mika, right now we're talking about all these previous prophets and whether they could be legitimate, how they're getting their knowledge, things of that nature. But there was 2 different. Well, he told people how to deal with asthma while he was sleeping, but he also actually gave a treatment that worked. This is the same guy that was able to tell all kinds of things about different locations that we just found out recently were legitimate. Also, the
Like
same,
the Bimini Road.
correct. Also, the same guy who they got to give them lottery numbers, and he got really, really sick after it because lottery numbers hit.
Yeah.
They absolutely hit. So you can't say, oh, it's a bunch of rubbish because the people ain't fortune tellers, right?
I don't know whatever happened to her. Miss Cleo. I would tell
Who?
you your future. The old advertisement for Miss Cleo. He called the
I don't know.
1-800 number back in the 90s.
I don't remember half of that stuff.
I remember Miss Cleo.
And then you had Nikolai Tesla. Flash disappeared. And then you had Nikolai Tesla, who was giving us all kinds of information that we're still currently using now with electricity and things of that nature.
Correct, Miko, she was.
Let me see.
She was outed as a fraud.
Oh, I think a lot of the people that, like, what was that lady that used to find dead kids? I can't think of her name, but she was such a goddamn scam. That lady was horrible. What was her name? Nate Brown or something? Sith froze, I think. Nope, there's a vehicle moving. He's just frozen. What was her name, Sith?
I don't know. That's what I was trying
Samantha
to think
Brown.
of. I know who you're talking about.
Gloria Brown, maybe?
Was it? I thought it was like Samantha Brown or something like that.
I think there are generational genius, people who are gifted with the usage of the brain better than yeah. See, if we're going to discuss that, I would add Elon Musk to that category right now because he thinks a lot of different things.
Yeah,
Nikola
that dude
Tesla
is
was
just wired
amazing
different.
and doesn't get enough credit. I agree with you, Miko, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. He was one of the best. What if these people, I mean, so we got a lot of these stories where these kids remembered past lives. We can't call it bullshit because these kids were able to lead people to locations. The one kid went to another country and showed where the corpse was from his previous life, and they convicted the guy for it.
Yeah.
There was the girl who was a little girl and said she was from Egypt. She went back years later and was able to tell them where locations was, and they found these locations.
Yeah, and these are documented cases.
So I kind of feel that there's certain people. How do I say this without? Okay, so look,
That have
I'm not going to say I'm not Christian or nothing like that, but I do believe that there's aspects of reincarnation for you to get through your life and succeed. And for whenever you succeed, actually go to whatever heavens you believe in or whatever Valhalla, whatever you believe in. But I believe that there's got to be certain things you have to go through. And I believe some of these kids are remembering their past lives because they have to know what they got to do to get there in the future.
right.
And each one of those past lives is just another step in this journey to get to where you go. If that makes sense. Like, I firmly believe that there is a reincarnation out because there's too many kids that remember things that they should not remember. I mean, try
Right.
driving down a road and having your kid say, I remember when I died, Daddy. And you damn near wreck a vehicle because he says it in the back seat. You don't know what the hell. This is something I went. But it wasn't something where we really got into the discussion because I was uncomfortable trying to talk to him. I don't want to make him think about things like that. I believe in old souls and reincarnation. Children always have heightened sense closer to God. Yeah, I could see that. I could absolutely see that. So, Sith, what about this topic you have now? We got a couple minutes left, and I know you had that article you wanted to talk about.
Yes. So this is a local story here in Orlando. Or well, I'm in Daytona Beach, but this happened in Orlando, so it's in our local news. And I always get a lot of funny stories, like the guy that broke into somebody's house, crawled into bed with him with a machete and said, "I love you." But this one's more on the uplifting side of things. So a family went into an Orlando restaurant, and for whatever reason, they all sat together. They sat the one boy off to the side, which made their waitress kind of pay attention. And when she looked a little bit closer while serving the food, she noticed that the boy was covered in bruises. And she asked the people if he was going to eat or whatever. And they said, well, he'll just eat at home later. He's picky, whatever. So this waitress or wait staff, I'm not going to say waiter or waitress, this wait staff person used a note to ask the boy if he was okay. When he responded no, the wait staff called 911. As it turns out, this boy was abused so badly that the Florida judge that he just went in front of gave him a life sentence without the possibility of parole for what he did to this child. Now, the child is alive, well, now in better care. I don't know if with the state or with family, whatever.
Okay.
But the story was about the person that,
Nobody recognizing it.
right.
And
The
not
story
willing to
was
remain
about,
silent.
yes, so many people see it and they just kind of turn the other cheek, so to speak.
I agree
And
with you on that. But then
this
again,
person was brave enough to try to make sure that the child was all right.
see, I agree with you on that. But then again, you get some nosy ass people that just want to wreck everybody else, and it harms family.
Right.
Like,
But I mean, the
let's
kid was covered. They said in the actual, hold on, let me bring
look.
this
I'm
thing
not
up.
saying that they were wrong for this one, not at all. I'm saying that some people are trash and they abuse this ability.
Oh, yeah. So it
But
was,
I'm happy that this person was able to speak up and save this kid without a
yes,
question.
it was the stepfather of an 11-year-old boy. And Judge Wayne C. Wooten called the abuse Wilson inflicted on the boy grade A horrible. I don't ever remember any case of such prolonged, malicious, and extensive ongoing abuse as what was presented in this case. Now, Florida is the only state that I know of, and I did a little bit of looking earlier, where the child survives, but the abuser still gets a life sentence. That's what we need more of.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex says the waitress saved my 7-month-old, or 7-year-old, 7-month-old. I think it's supposed to say 7-month year, but it's 7 month. Old from burning hot water. From hot water burning, did the right thing while the parent-in-law were frozen doing nothing. Hot water bottle drenched the stroller. Oh, okay. So
Another
yeah,
quick thinking, just
that's
there's still people out there, you know what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely. And so we said last week on stream that we was gonna make this stream more about the people that support us and things like that. So we're gonna sit here for the next 5 minutes now that we got all of our topics out, in case anybody has any questions, and we can still converse like we normally were. But all priority is on anything that anybody wants to say in chat, so we could respond. What are you guys looking at for next week? Tith, you said you're going to be in the middle of a move.
Yes. After 4 pulmonologists and a primary doctor told us to move to Florida for my wife's lungs. After a CAT scan a week before we left New York and a CAT scan from 2 nights ago at the hospital, her pulmonary fibrosis has grown 30% in 2 months.
Oh no.
So
Time to go back.
Friday, we are headed back to New York, back
He
to
wants
her
to
regular
smell spoiled
pulmonologist.
milk. Instead of the sun and the ocean, he wants to smell spoiled milk. No, but Nate, you said you probably won't be able to make it either. You
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
gonna
go
be
hide
at.
Flash's goat.
I'm going to the Renaissance Festival.
Same thing.
I think you should have to go to live while you're there.
I might for a little bit if I got enough signal.
I have a couple of things. I have one of those really, really hot chips. Flash said if I send it to him, it's one of the new packaged ones that he will eat it. What do you guys think about Flash Martin eating one of these hot ass chips?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I want to
We
see
need to
that.
send him one of the Devil's Toes lollipops.
No, this is just the packy chip. The supposed to be the hottest chip in the world. Flash
The like
agreed to it.
the what?
Like the
Yeah, I
old
want to see
one, but
that.
the hotter one.
Okay.
Okay. So that's on the chip aspect. Both of them had
Hold
to
that
do with
thought for a
Flash.
second.
Flash, you have your kid back, so you won't be able to make it next week, right?
Probably not. Like I said, but I'll try. Like I said, well, no promises.
So most likely I will be going live
It's
by
fine,
something.
bud.
My 24-year-old daughter just bought a house in June. Still busy renovating. I completely understand that. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Hey,
I'm-
Jules, by the way, I'm just letting you know I'm going to have to go to bed in a few minutes because it's 1:10 in the morning.
You're good. You're good. We know you don't want you got to take your goat outside before it's bedtime. That's besides
By
the
the
point.
way, just to let everyone know who's watching this stream, I am not into goats. It's just
Sheep.
one of
I'm
them.
sorry. Sheep. Would you just say it's just one goat?
No, I
Wait. That's what I heard. Wait a minute. I heard you just say it's just one goat.
What I just said is one of them.
Just one. Okay, well, sheep, billy goat, whatever you want to call it, it don't matter. Flash, we still accept. Alex, actually, I got the car, so I'd be able to raise my credit up more. And here within the next year, I mean, I'm already approved to buy a house, but here within the next year, I am headed towards trying to buy one. Well, I can respect everybody's religions also, so you don't ever have to worry about
Yeah, it's
it.
pretty much general consensus.
Yeah, everybody could believe in something different as long as you don't attack each other for it, then you're all right. And the people that
I'm
do
like
attack
you
each
too.
other is usually because it's the same religion being spat back and forth at each other in different languages.
I'm like you too. I do believe in a higher power, but I don't believe in what Bible says. I think it's a lot of bull.
I never said I didn't. I never made that statement. I never made a statement whether I did or I didn't. Do I believe the Bible is real? I
Higher
believe the
power.
Bible dates back 13,000 years. So you could take it however you want to take it from there. But I believe it goes back 13,000 years.
Yeah, but I don't believe in the Bible. But I do believe there's a higher power. But
And more power to you.
That's
Right.
what he needs to hear when he. Never mind. No more gates. No more gates. Them charges are going to stick with you for the rest of your life. But I am going to go ahead and end it now. I did want to give it about 5 minutes at the end. And we're going to try to do that on every stream that we do, where we give 5 minutes just for anybody to say what they want to say if they have a question. And hopefully we don't get overwhelmed, but we could get overwhelmed. So we will see everybody. They will see you in, well, 2 of the 3 will see you in 2 weeks. I will see you sometime throughout the week or Saturday. Can't guarantee nothing right now because got kids going back to school and I'm going to punch the shit out the spot. That hurt. But anyway.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I will. Oh, not a problem, Alex. You know that anytime. And like I said, I'd love to be able to get you on here because you seem very knowledgeable. So I'd like to bring you on one of these weekends, possibly bring you on Saturday. We'll have to talk more about it. My email is in my YouTube channel. You could just shoot me an email and I'll be able to respond. if you want to. It's up to you if you want to. And then I can also get you in Discord because you have membership. Also, before I forget, see this design over here? And the scroll that was on the intro video, that's on the new gear. You can go right down below and click on store or click on those. Yeah, Alex, absolutely. I'd like to get you on a show. But you can click on any of them if you want some gear from them. We got some really cool gear. We got one that says Shattered Tears. And it has a country burning in a background of a teardrop that's been shattered. We got the Savage Born Americans. We have American Savages. We got a whole bunch of different stuff. So go check it out. But we are getting out of here. So with that being said, you see Nate, you see Flash, and you see Sith. Sith, he's going to be on with me for probably a few more minutes. Same with Nate. Flash, on the other hand, he's got sheep, goat, and foreign animals from different worlds that he has to chase.
No,
and that way he's not so pent up in the morning. But that's
it's
besides the
4:30 in the
point.
morning, for God's sake.
So you guys all have a great night. Stay safe. Stay savage. We're getting out of here.